I'm going to show you exactly the trades that I took yesterday, why I did it, and show you how I have a 100% risk-free, cannot possibly lose trade in Palantir. If only other YouTubers could show you how to do this, right? If only other YouTubers could show you how to do this. If that's helpful to you, put hashtag outlier in the chat. If that is helpful to you at all, put hashtag outlier in the chat, and let's get busy. Let's get busy here. So the first trade that I did yesterday was, pull this up here. Let's go over to the Outlier trading room. So every trade that I put on for years is right here inside of our Discord for years. And we actually are making it a little bit easier on you as well. You can go back and you can see all the receipts of every trade I've ever made ever. Even if you're not in our Discord, over on my YouTube channel. Over on my YouTube channel, we just put up a couple playlists for all the 2024 trades and all the 2025 trades. So go check those out. You will absolutely love those because it's everything, right? It's as open, it's as transparent as could possibly be. So go check out those two playlists over there. So let's go through the trades that we have on, or the trades that I did yesterday, and we'll talk about it. So am I at the bottom of this? Yesterday, yes, yesterday. Okay. So trade number one yesterday, I closed Robinhood 53 calls for 1065. My heat map target was hit, and I had a 96.93% win, including the rolls, which was an 8.97% account impact. So I grew my account 8.97%. I made more on this trade than the quote normal returns for the year in the stock market in one trade. And what I mean by normal returns is, you know, the old adage is you make 8 to 10% per year trading in or just owning the market. I made that much in one trade in 2 days. So let me show you what we did here. So let's go to Outlier because I'm going to need that. So initially we put on the trade in Robinhood. Let's go up a little bit further. Here on May 9th, I bought the May 30th strikes, 48 calls for $7.50 when it was trading at 54.41. So I hope this is useful to you guys. This is not Chris trying to brag. This is Chris trying to show you what I did, why I did, so you can do the same thing the next time you have some trades, okay? So first, this is where I put the trade on, right? May 9th. On Friday. A lot of people in the chat were like, oh my gosh, Chris, why would you do this? Why would you put on a trade on Friday? I'll show you why. Right, first up, it lit up the Outlier 9. All right, let's go to the Outlier 9 real quick. What is the Outlier 9? The Outlier 9 is this. Your market has to have the trend, the signal, and the breadth all moving in one direction. So let's go through that so you know what I'm talking about. First is the SPY. Let's go there. Hang on. There, SPY here. All right, so we go to the SPY. And when we look at the SPY, we see what we need to see right here very quickly. With the green overlay shows us the market's trending higher, okay? Easy peasy. So that's the trend. The market trend is pushing higher. Next, the market signal. We have a buy signal on the SPY that came through April 25th. So that's perfect. Then lastly is market breadth. Now, this is one that's been a little bit controversial amongst the outliers here because not only did the cycle reset, but it reset really, really high. Let me show you what I mean. What we're doing is measuring how many buy signals we have versus sell signals. And so this is a really good reset of what it looks like as it's going up. And then as it's got bearish breadth coming down and then resetting, going back up, and then bearish breadth as it's going down. This was a very high reset. An exceptionally high reset. I don't know if we've ever had a reset that high before. Let's see, maybe a couple times back here in November of 23. So over a year that we've not had a reset anywhere that high before. And it was little bitty. I mean, I didn't even notice it. One of our Discord members, Albertone, pointed it out to me. I didn't even see this reset right here. So that went on, that reset on the breadth where I was like, okay, cool, I'm good, let's go. So we had bullish trend, bullish signal, bullish breadth. Next, in the sectors, we'll go to Robinhood and we'll look at the sector for it. All right. Looking at Robinhood, we can see the sector information down here. Now, on that date, that was here as the market was starting to push back up, the 9th. It was pushing back up slightly at that point here. So it reset for me. The market reset, and so I'm looking at the breadth of the sectors with fresh eyes here. So even though it was bullish, even though it contracted slightly, it had reset and was starting to go up at that point. So very cool. Now the sector was getting less fearful, more greedy. That's exactly what we want to see. So fear and greed and breadth, also bullish. So far, 5 of the 9 are bullish. Next, we go down to the trend of the stock. Now, before I get too deep, why do I care? 40% of your stocks moves due to the market. 30% of your stocks moves due to the sector. And the last 30% is due to the stock itself. So looking at this, now we're down to the stock. So we're down to hood. Let's look at the trend on the hood. Green overlay means a 10, 20, 50 outlier trend template pointing north. Buy signal active on May 8th. I took the trade on May 9th. Fear and greed. Fear and greed growing. We can see getting more and more greedy. That's exactly what we want to see. And then lastly, were there any outlier blocks in the way? We'll jump over into trading view, and you can see there were some outlier blocks here and there, but none in my way. None in my way up here. And then what happened? Rocket ship time. Rocket ship moon emojis, right? Huge move up. This was how big of a move up was this? From where I got in to where I got out, about right there, a 15% move, give or take. 15% move in the span of how many days? 2 days? Goodness gravy. Tell me outlier doesn't work. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, by the way, I saw this comment on YouTube. And it's funny because I get lots of comments that are like, "Oh my gosh, Chris, you've saved me so much money. Oh my gosh, Chris, I've made so much money. Oh my gosh, Chris, you've helped me in so many different ways." And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, right? I do this because I want to help you. I don't have to do this. I could disappear. You'd never see me again. I'd be just fine. But I do this because I love the game and I like to play the game and I like to show you how to play the game. I love this. But then there's some comments that are like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I've lost so much money because I didn't buy this stock or didn't buy that stock. I sold all the stocks in his sell signals. And the funny part is that person and you watched the exact same video. But that person lost money, according to them. And you made tons of money watching the exact same information, the exact same words that came out of my mouth. Both of you had completely different outcomes. Now, I think that has to do with what Ed Secoda would say. Ed Secoda. Everyone gets what they want out of the market. Now, that's a weird thing to say, but who is Ed Secoda? Ed Secoda is one of the greatest traders of all time, one of the original market wizards. And this is his big quote to me. This is the one that stands out to me. Everyone gets what they want out of the market. He literally is a multi-billionaire at this point. I think the last stat I heard is he has $4 billion. Everyone gets what they want out of the market. And some people want to make money. Some people want to lose so they can have attention. Some people are not mentally equipped to play this game. I went through that at some points. I'm sure I did. But to hear completely different experiences using the same words that came out of these teeth right here, the same words that came out, yielding 2 completely wildly different experiences, tells me that this quote is so true. Everyone gets what they want out of the market. If they want someone to blame, they're going to find something to blame. But if they want to, as Mark Minervini would say, Mark Minervini literally told me this one day. He said, you need to shut up and you need to listen to people who have figured out what they're doing and stop telling them what you're doing because it doesn't work. When one of your trading heroes, when one of your mentors looks you in the eye and says, you need to shut up telling me what you're doing because it's obviously not working, and you need to listen to what people are doing that actually works. Pretty sobering, isn't it? So take that from me to you. Take that from me to you. So back to the Robinhood. Giant move up right here. Now, why did I get out? Right? We had the OVTLYR Nine all lit up right here. Why did I get out? So my exit signals, in fact, getting into the trade, where's my slide for this? Getting into the trade, I have to set the expectation that there are no expectations. There are no expectations on the outcome of the trade, right? Do you really think when I got in here at 54.49, where I said, oh, you know what? I expect to get out at 62.57, right? Let's just move this line up right here. I expect to get out at 62.57. No, how could I have ever expected that? I expect to get out with a 15% move. No, how could I have ever expected that? No, there are no expectations on the outcome. The only thing you can do is follow your plan, right? I have no profit targets, no expectations on the outcome, no profit targets. I just will follow my plan to get out when one of my exit signals happens. By doing so, you have no bias in the trade. By doing this, you have no emotional ties to the trade. By doing this, you are letting the market tell you what it's doing rather than you telling the market what it needs to do. This is so critically important. I can't stress enough how important it is to have this sort of mentality when you go into every single trade. But these are my exit signals here, right? Now, the 10 EMA wasn't broken because it was moving up. It didn't hit the half ATR. There was no stop loss hit. It didn't run into any outlier blocks like we talked about. The outlier heat map didn't stall. Heat map, meaning the fear and greed for Robinhood right here. It didn't stall. In fact, it continued to move up. We can see the greed value getting more and more greedy. That's exactly what you want to see, getting more and more greedy. So then we had rolled it at that point, but it didn't close below the prior day's low, right? Just rocket ships higher. So then I look over here to find out where I'm going to get out by selling into strength. So for me, I was looking at a 10-point spread, I believe it was, because when I took the signal, here we go. When I took the signal, the heat map value was at 59. 59 was the signal. So my rules are get out with a 10-point spread when the heat map value is between 50 and 75. Now, why do we do that? Because one thing that we have found, which I've observed over and over, and I can show you right here on the chart, when it gets really high, you can see snapbacks. When it gets really low, you can see snapbacks, right? And I don't want to be snapback. I want to take my profits before they evaporate. So for me, that was an exit signal, and that's what I took yesterday. Now, this trade was a tremendous trade, and I actually pulled up the spreadsheet so that I could show you how we got to this point with a 97% return, a 97% return. So, looking at, oh, this should say hood right here. So I bought to open on May 9th, the 530, the May 30th, 48 puts, I'm sorry, 48 calls, for $7.50. Which is exactly what you're going to see inside of our Discord. It's exactly what you're going to see if you go back on that date and watch me do it live. Receipts are all over the place. I have nowhere I can hide. I'm showing you everything. I'm showing you everything. So I bought it for $7.50. And then on May 12th, so this was Friday, on May 12th, was that Monday? Yeah, on May 12th, I rolled it from the 48 to the 53 strike for $4.12. Now, if you're not familiar what that means that I went from, let's go to hood. All I did was move my position from the 48 strike up to the 53 strike. So you're probably asking yourself, well, why would you do that? Why not just hold the 48 strike? By doing so, I'll show you my slide on that. By the way, I love having the slides because then I don't have to remember everything. All I got to do is show you the slides. Just makes it so much easier. And you can learn in the process, right? The stock moved over 1 ATR in my direction. Here. So I got in and I rolled it up at this point here. It moved over 1 ATR in my direction. Good to go. And what is ATR? ATR shows you the volatility of the stock, and it's an indicator you can add onto anything. And this is something that I got from the Turtle Traders and actually from Larry Hite, one of my mentors, the first billion-dollar hedge fund manager. You can use ATR to show you where the stock is moving and how far it's moving and how bigly the moves are. It also helps with position sizing. But point being is that it moved up 1 ATR. And so that was my cue. That was my cue to look to roll. So the question was, can you roll up and potentially out if needed for a credit? If not, hold the trade. So I was able to move from the 48 strike up to the 53 strike. So moving up the option chain from the 48 to 53. And by doing so, I took in $4.12 of credit. So I paid $7.50. I got back a refund, if you want to think of it this way, of $4.12. Now, what I did was I took partial profits off the table. That allowed me to be able to trade with that additional $4.12 right now. Freed up capital right now, and it kept the trade alive. It kept the trade alive. So this is like, it is exactly like having your cake and eating it too. Now, I didn't understand that until about 2 years ago. If you rephrase it and say it's like keeping your cake and eating it too, then it makes total sense, right? I never understood like have your cake and eat it too. Of course, I'm going to have the cake and eat it. Why wouldn't I eat the cake that I already have? Right? No. It's like keeping your cake and eating it too. So now I get it. That is what we did with this. That's why I say rolling options is voodoo. It is straight up magical. It is one of the coolest things you could possibly do in trading, and you cannot do this with stock. It is absolutely impossible. Theo says the refund makes sense. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I refer to that as a refund. So we bought it for $7.50, and we got a partial refund for $4.12. So I still only had $3 of risk in the trade, $3.38 of risk in the trade, right? So I basically cut the risk to the trade in half immediately right out the gate from Friday to Monday. Now, I closed it yesterday, May 13th. I closed the 53s for $10.65. Okay. When I closed it, it was roughly up here, give or take. And this is also one of the reasons why I like to trade at the end of the day, because even though I don't know exactly where I got in or exactly where I got out, I have a ballpark of where I got in, where I got out. Got in here, got out here. Amazing move. Tremendous move. When I closed it for $10.65, my total profit was $7.27. Now, that is taking the amount that I closed it for, plus the roll that I took in, and then subtracting out how much it cost me. That's my total profits. And when I divide my total profits by what I paid for it, that's a 97% return in 3 days. Right. All of this based on finding a trade that was lit up in the OVTLYR Nine, finding a trade that was lit up in the OVTLYR Nine, letting the trade work, rolling the trade where needed, taking the trade off when I got my exit signal. I guarantee you, most of finance YouTube would not have any idea what I just did. And I just did it, made nearly 100% return on my investment in 3 days. And this is why I told you guys, for as long as possible, sit in cash and don't F up. I had somebody leave a fantastic Discord message yesterday, and I really appreciated that. They said, Chris, this was your I told you so day. And I'm like, yeah. Mark, one of our co-founders, he's like, Chris, this is exactly what OVTLYR is meant to do. OVTLYR is meant to help you get out of the way when the market's working against you and be in making as much as you possibly can when the market connects. And the best part about it is I got to share this with you. I got to do this with you. Do you realize how cool that is? Do you realize how amazing it is to be able to sit on the shoulder of a professional trader, do everything that he's doing if you choose to? I just think that's so cool. I just think that's so cool that I can do this with you. So that was the Robinhood trade that I closed yesterday. Another trade that I worked on yesterday during the OVTLYR Live, or during the OVTLYR University, was, let's go see the next one here. Yesterday, Palantir, Datadog. We'll do Datadog next. Datadog. So I rolled up Datadog for the second time. So let's look at Datadog. So still holding Datadog as of this morning. However, actually I have an exit signal for today. So looking at Datadog, buy signal came on the 8th, getting more greedy. The sector getting more greedy. The sector breadth going up higher and higher, right? So we know the OVTLYR 9 is all lit up for Datadog. Plus, here's the other thing. I'm not taking a trade unless it lights up the OVTLYR 9. Unless every single one of these things is lit up, I'm not taking a trade. You don't have to be as stringent as me. You might say, okay, if 7 out of 9 are good, that's all I need. If 5 out of 9 are good, that's all I need. Not me. I'm a snob. I want to make sure that I have the best trades possible. I want to have the most tremendous, the easiest trades that I've ever made. And I do that by making sure the OVTLYR Nine lights up for me before I put on the trade. And I do that by knowing where I'm going to get out before I put on the trade. So there's no guessing. No guessing at all. Just follow the plan. You can drive from Dallas to Disney World. And I use that example because it makes sense. You can drive from Dallas to Disney World, and you can do anything in between. You can stop off in New Orleans. You can go to Mardi Gras. You can stop off at the Buc-ee's in Robertsdale, Alabama. You can do whatever you want. But you can still get from Dallas to Disney World following the map. And it is so important to make sure that you follow the map. Follow your plan. By the way, if you know of the Buc-ee's in Robertsdale, Alabama, put Buc-ee's in the chat right now. I've stopped there a couple times. It's a good one. Okay. So let's look at Datadog. Like I say, I have an exit signal on Datadog today, and that's fine. Looking at this here, Datadog came up. How much does it come up? 8% in the span of a couple of days. Yeah, Richard and JC know about that, Buc-ee's. 8% in a couple days. And I rolled it once at 112. I rolled it again at 116 because it moved up one ATR and then it moved up another ATR. Right? So those are my cues to get busy rolling. Now, let's look at how it's played out. Let's go to Excel. Let's go to Datadog. There we go. So about to open the 100 strike on May 23rd. So let's go to Datadog. May 23rd. So I started here on the 100 strike. All right. Started here. Then the trade worked for me. So I rolled my position from the 100 to the 106. And I took $5.35 of credit when I did that. So I moved from 100 to 106 and I took in $5.35. Okay. Sold to close the 100. Bought to open the 106. I took in $5.35 in that process. Reducing my risk down to $3.50. A trade that had risk of $8.85 is now a trade with only $3.50. And then, so that was Friday, then on Monday, then on Tuesday, I rolled it again from the 106 to the 110, taking in another $3.50. Now, by doing this, I have absolutely no risk in this trade whatsoever. This is a 100% risk-free trade to me. I cannot possibly lose anything on Datadog. Datadog could crash to zero. I could own the calls all the way down, and I would lose nothing. I really want to stress this here because it gets even better when we get to Palantir. Robinhood was just tip of the iceberg here. This trade has no risk. When I put it on at 885 and I rolled it for 535 and then I rolled it again for 350, that cumulatively yields a debit, a credit, and a credit for no risk whatsoever. This is a risk-free trade to me. And I'm hoping you get this. If you're getting it, type the word free in the chat. Absolutely risk-free trade. And then I'm still holding Datadog. So I'm still holding Datadog for $7.75 right now, the 110. Now, coincidentally, that's as much profit as I have right now. Doesn't always work that way, but it's almost the exact same profit. So my return is the amount of profits that I've made, which let's do the math on that. The amount of profits I made is the one I'm still holding, plus the roll number 1, plus roll number 2, and then subtracting out the cost of the option. That's my total profit. And that is 775 divided by 885. That is an 88% return that I'm sitting on right now with absolutely no risk in the trade. Pretty sweet, right? Now, I do have an exit signal on Datadog today because I said I would sell when the heat map value hits 63. Today, the heat map value on Datadog is 63.52. Where did I get 63? That was my plan. That was my plan. So now I get to get off Datadog at whatever it's going to be at the end of the day, and I will take my profits and I'll have no stress. Lots of people understand the freebie. Very cool. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun to be able to see how it's done? Isn't this fun to be able to see how it's done? Now, I didn't learn rolling on my own. I learned it from Michael Coe, who at one point was a CNBC personality on the CNBC show Options Action. I met him down in Austin, had a conversation. Turned out I hated that guy's guts, but he did give me this one tip that was changed everything. Changed everything for sure. Now, the next one and the best one is Palantir. The next and best is Palantir. Good gravy. I almost didn't take this trade. I almost didn't. And because of this trade, I do have to amend my rules. But yeah, this has been tremendous. Palantir took the trade May 12th, Monday, May 12th. Let's see. Here. Monday, May 12th, 2:50 p.m. I put this out there. Bought the 108 calls for 1170 when it was trading at 118.35. So I bought the 118 calls or 108 calls on Palantir. May 23rd. Bought the 108s for 1170. Yeah. Then huge move up. Tremendous move up, giant move up. So I rolled it, right? I rolled it yesterday afternoon during the OVTLYR University live stream around 129.71. I went back to the video to make sure that I got the right spot. Rolled it around 129.71 and rolled from the 108s to the 122s. I did it for $12.07. So my original trade was buying to open the 108s. Hang on, let me move this over a little bit. Buying to open the 108s, and it cost me $11.70 to own those calls. Then yesterday, I rolled them. So one day later, I rolled them from the 108 to the 122. I took in $12.07 of credit. It cost me $11.70 and I got back $12.07. So let me conceptualize this for you. Imagine you go to Costco and you buy what could you buy at Costco? You buy all kinds of stuff at Costco, right? Imagine you bought, what do I buy at Costco? I buy protein shakes at Costco, some fruit every once in a while. What's a big purchase I made at Costco recently? I don't know. I was pricing the outdoor speakers the other day. Okay. Let's say that I went and I bought the speakers for $1,170. Okay. Now, I priced those speakers for $1,170. I bought them. I took them home. I came back the next day and I'm like, you know what? You know what? I don't think I want these. And they're like, are you sure? Yeah, I've decided I don't want these speakers anymore. I'm going to find some different ones. And they're like, you know what? That's fine. We'll go ahead and give you $1,207 back instead. Like, wait, what? But I paid $1,170. I know, but the speakers went up in value since you bought them. So we'll give you back more than what you paid for it. It's like, sweet. And then the best part, keep the speakers. What? This is what just happened here. I bought the speakers. I returned the speakers for more than what I paid them for. And I got to keep the speakers so I can actually sell them again. That is what we did in this trade. This is why I'm telling you this is magic. If the conceptualization of speakers makes sense to you, put it in the chat, right? Nate just said that analogy is gold. Yeah. I bought the speakers for $1,170. I returned the speakers and Costco gave me back $1,207. But they told me I can keep them. And I can sell them back later. almost like I know what I'm talking about. Isn't this cool? Gold speakers. Yeah. I want those speakers. So Ham gets it. Okay. I finally understand the analogy. Very cool. So do you get to keep everything of the speaker? You get to keep the speaker. You bought it. You returned it. Costco said, you know what? Just keep it. And then you still get to sell the speakers later on. Corey says it's very clear, but Manny says it's way over his head. I'm trying my best. But do you keep all the speakers or just a partial? Oh, JC, what's up, JC? JC, I bought the speakers. I took them back to Costco, and they gave me more than I paid for the speakers as a refund. And then I get to keep the speakers. So here, let's use this. I bought the megaphone for $11.70, right? I paid JC $11.70. And then I'm like, you know what? Thanks, JC. I love this megaphone, but I don't think it's right for me. So I return the speaker to JC. JC says, you know what, Chris, you're such a good customer of mine. I'll give you more than what you paid for it as a refund. Really? Awesome. Thank you. And keep it. Why not keep it? Wait, what? You're going to give me all my money back and some, and I get to keep it? Oh, this is crazy. And then I can sell it later? Yeah, why not? Whoa. Game changer. Game over changer. Okay. So I have a guaranteed risk-free profit of 37 cents. It's not much. I understand that. But nobody on God's green earth can take those 37 cents from me. Impossible. And I still own the options. I still own the options. And it's when I was pricing this out, it's still about $8.90. So I have $9.27 in total profits. That's the $8.90 plus the credit that I rolled it for, and then subtracting out how much the original option cost, which is a 79% return, taking total profits dividing by the original cost, a 79% return with absolutely no risk in the trade. Forever be able to hold this if I choose to, or I'll get out when one of my exit signals happens. Isn't that cool? Man, I'm so stoked about this. They don't always work like this, right? This is a rare occasion. This may be 15 to 20% of the time do I get to roll options like this. But this is why I do it, right? It frees up capital so I can go I can go make other trades with that funds if I need it, right? It lets me take partial profits off the table now, and I get to keep the trade on. It is black magic. It's like stealing money. It really is. It really is. You cannot do this. You cannot do this with options. What's the current price of the option? I don't know, Hank. Let's go see. So the 523 122s on Palantir, 523 122s. The current price is what? 1303. Let's go. 1303. Oh, I've only made 115% on Palantir. Wait. You can't see my Mr. Olympia pose when I do that. I've only made 115% on one trade in 3 days. And I'm still holding it. I don't have an exit signal on Palantir today. I don't think. I might, but I don't think so. I do right now. Pretty sweet, right? Patrick asks, a very good question. Do you ever change the expiration date on your rolls? So my rule is, and I'm glad you asked, that's a great question, is 1 week before expiration. Is it already profitable? Right? So this Friday will be 1 week before the expiration of these Palantir calls. Is it already profitable? If no, then I close now. I don't need to own this trade anymore. It's not working out. I need to get out. If yes, can I roll out and potentially up again for a credit? It depends, right? If I'm rolling to the same strike, unlikely I could get it for a credit. If I can roll a little bit later and a little bit higher, I could get it for a credit. Now, you always want to roll for a credit. You want to roll for a credit. The reason you roll for a credit is it reduces risk. If you roll for a debit, you have just added risk to the trade. If you roll up, if you roll out, and it costs you money, you don't want to take that trade. If you roll out, or if you roll up, or if you roll both, and you've taken a credit, you have reduced your risk in the trade. You have more money to trade with, and you've taken partial profits off the table. Pretty cool, right? So that's my answer there. Yeah, I'm just stoked that I could do this with you. Senior Wahoo asks, are we rolling Palantir again today? Oh no, I haven't looked at it right now. I only do everything at the end of the day. So here's the deal. If it crosses over 133-ish by the end of the day and stays there, right? It can obviously pop up and pop back down. But if it goes over 133-ish, then yeah, I'd roll it again. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, is it too late to get in? Here's the deal. I wouldn't take this trade at this point in my life. I am closer to exit signals for me than I am to entry signals. Because of this, I wouldn't take that trade. There you go. So how good was this? What was this good or what? Was this so cool to be able to see how rolling a trade is equivalent to buying something at Costco, returning it, getting more money when you return it, and they let you keep it, right? Wasn't this cool to be able to show you how it's done, how you can make crazy amounts of money in a very short amount of time? I mean, my portfolio is going to be up. In fact, give me just a second here. Let me update my numbers and I'll show you where I'm at right now. So I'm in the 122s in Palantir. It's currently at 1188. 1188. Datadog, I need to get out of today. And that's the, which strike am I in? I don't even remember which strike I'm in. Hang on. So we rolled Datadog 106 to the 110. Okay, so I'm in the 110s. You're at 945. Yeah, 945. So we rolled Datadog twice, 945. GM, I'm still in GM. GM, I am in what? I haven't done anything fancy with GM yet, have I? No reason to close. Or did I? Did I do something fancy with GM? I don't remember. I did roll GM. Yeah, okay. So GM, I rolled to the 47 strike on May 30th. The 47 strike here goes 355 right now. And 355 plus 355. Okay, so my GM totals at 710. Etsy, I'm in. This will be the last one. Etsy, what am I in Etsy? I haven't done anything with Etsy. Etsy's not really performed, and that's okay. I'm in the May 23rd 45 calls. May 23rd 45 calls on Etsy. It's currently pricing around 246 right now. So I'm actually losing on one of my trades, if you can believe it. Yeah, it's possible. So this gives me year-to-date return of 35.73%. 35.73%. Annualized returns 131%. Now, I've only taken 10 trades this year. This is not a whole heap and heaven full of data. But this is what I'm looking at right now, right? And this is why I tell you guys, this is how it's done, right? Let me show you my 2024 results real quick. 2024. Now, here's the deal. Every one of these trades is an outlier signal. Every one of these trades had the OVTLYR Nine mapped. Every single one of these. That was last year and this year. So 2024, year-to-date return 91%. But here's the deal. Look, flatline, gains, flatline, gains, flatline, gains, flatline, gains, flatline, gains, a little bit of losses. Okay. 2025, flatline, gains, flatline, gains. This is how it's done. Sit in cash and don't F up. That's not a joke. Sit in cash and don't F up. And then in the span of 3 or 4 days, you go from being up like 1% on the year to up 35%. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. So listen, I really hope that helped you out, right? My objective here is to help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. And if I've helped you out at all, the way you can pay me back is by telling somebody else that they can also save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, but just by watching this channel, right? It won't cost them a penny. It's completely free. And if you're ready to save time, make money, start winning with less risk, be sure you click one of these 2 videos. We'll talk soon.